happy steeping and have a happy Halloween.
Happy steeping and have happy Halloween.
Ah, you're so weird. Okay. Hi, we're Sma and Rainy, and we're back to talk about oolong teas, which is our favorite tea type and an incredibly complex tea type. So we hope to simplify it as much as possible for you, but please bear with us. It is a big world. So oolong tea is really interesting because it has a really big range in terms of its oxidation level. It comes after yellow tea, between yellow tea and black tea. It can be anywhere from 20% oxidized to 80% oxidized. So as you can imagine, this means that even the flavor notes and the fragrances of a variety of oolong teas are pretty diverse. Really fun world to dive into, so we really encourage you to check some oolong teas out yourself. But if we were to categorize oolong teas, a general categorization could be by the oxidation level. Mm-hmm. So you can have mildly oxidized oolong teas, medium oxidized oolong teas, and heavily oxidized oolong teas. You can also have roasted levels when it comes to categorizing types of oolong. We're not going to get into roasted levels. It's very complicated. It's just a lot of information, but do keep that in mind. And the less roasted and the less oxidized an oolong tea is, the more green it's going to be in its appearance. Like we mentioned earlier, it has an incredibly complex process. It is one of the most time-consuming and most complicated processing out of all the different tea types, and the processing heavily relies on the experience of the farmer.
Yeah, so we all know that green tea is typically harvested in spring. However, for oolong tea, most of them are harvested in spring and autumn, except for a few particular cultivars that can also be harvested in summer and winter. And they are usually harvested toward the end of the season rather than the beginning of the season. And that's why most of the oolong teas that we see have really big mature leaves. So first of all, farmers will pluck the leaves, then they will have to go through the withering process both indoor and outdoor. After that, the next step is unique to oolong tea, which is known in Chinese as yaoqing. Basically what it is that farmers will put all the raw leaves after withering on a flat, really big bamboo basket. Then they will shake the basket, so like two actions, either this way or this way. I don't dance like that.
Yeah. That's what she says on camera.
Don't believe her.
I know the real her.
Okay, back to tea.
Yeah.
And then, what this step does is really important. It basically allows the leaves to rub each other's edges so that the area can be broken and can be oxidized. And only this way the fragrance that's unique to that particular oolong tea can be produced and also can be enhanced. Then after that, you just one thing, and that's why when you drink oolong teas, if you look at the leaves, you will notice this redness at the edges of the leaf. So after that, what you would do is you go through the shotting through either pan-fried or roasting. And then you roll the leaves into different shapes. Different shapes can kind of tell you which region the tea is from. Then you dry the leaves. The last step, as Sma mentioned earlier, is to roast the teas. However, not every single type of cultivar needs to be roasted, and some teas have to go through more than one roasting procedure, maybe like 2 or 3 times depending on the tea.
So oolong tea originated in Fujian, China, and then made its way over to Taiwan some 1,000 years ago. There are tea scholars that dispute that and say that it actually originated in the Canton province in China, and then made its way over to Fujian and Taiwan. Either way, like all the other tea types, oolong tea was also exclusively gifted to the royals and emperors of China at the time. Nowadays, you can find oolong tea is grown in other countries as well. However, because of the history of oolong tea in Taiwan and in China, most of the oolong teas have historical names that are from Taiwan and China.
Yeah, that's right. And also, common folks like you and me these days also have access to oolong teas now. Yay! But have you guys ever wondered where the name oolong tea comes from? Like the word oolong, like what it means and where it's from. So there are a few different folk tales telling a story about the genesis of oolong tea. But before I tell you the most popular version, here's a fun fact. Oolong in Fujianese local dialect means muddle-headed or confusion or clumsy, careless, making a mistake by accident. So for example, in China, during a soccer game, if the soccer player accidentally kicks the ball into his own goal, then this ball is named Oolong ball.
Hey, if anyone's looking for a new business idea, you can come out with t-shirts that now say I'm with Oolong.
Ignore. Drink some tea. Cheers. And then to continue the story from there. Basically, in the past, there was this farmer that went in the mountain, plucked some teas, and then put the tea leaves in his basket. Then he carried the basket going down the mountain. However, because the mountain road is kind of rocky, then because of all the sway and shaking action as he was walking down the mountain, guess what happened? The tea leaves in his basket started to get heated up a little bit by themselves, and just they were that yaoqing processing stage that I told you about accidentally happened. So by the time he arrived at the bottom of the mountain, he sensed this very nice, unique floral fragrance from his basket. And that's
rubbing tea leaves.
From the rubbing tea leaves. And exactly. And that's how oolong tea was accidentally discovered and produced. So literally, in conclusion, what oolong tea means is muddle-headed tea or confused tea. Yeah.
An interesting fact, actually, a lot of oolong cultivars present today have some form of a story of how it was accidentally come across. Is that true?
That is actually really true. Yeah, like the Phoenix stencil duck shit aroma.
Yeah, or even
that was an accident too.
The Oriental Beauty. Yeah.
That was an accident too?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Well, they say that it was an accident.
See? Just many confusion, many muddle-headed.
Many confusion.
Many confusions around this tea. It really lives up to its name.
So there's a lot of different ways that oolong teas can be categorized, as many ways as there are oolong teas. Maybe not, but we touched on two earlier. You can categorize them by oxidation level and roasting level, and now we'll touch on by region. So there's 4 major types if we were to categorize by region. and that is if they're from northern Fujian, China, southern Fujian, China, Canton province in China, or Taiwan. So the Wuyi Mountain is located in northern Fujian, China, and that's where most of the Wuyi rock teas come from. Southern Fujian, China is well known for two major teas, oolong teas. The Tea Guanyin, also known as the Iron Buddha, and
Huang Jinggui.
Huang Jinggui. One fun fact is that the Tea Guanyin is rolled into a pebble-like shape similar to the Taiwanese oolongs, which is used as linkage to show that Taiwanese oolongs are originally from Fujian, China. And then we've got oolong teas from the Canton province. These are our personal favorites, the Phoenix Dancong. They are delicious and very similar in appearance to Wuyi rock teas. And then lastly, we've got oolong teas from Taiwan. Most of them are very ball-shaped or pebble-like in their appearance, with a few exceptions, such as the Baihao or the Baozhong.
So when brewing oolong tea, Gongfu Cha style, if the leaf is really green, that means it's a more delicate tea, kind of like the concept of green tea. In that case, you typically want to brew the oolong tea with very green leaves at temperature 80 to 85 Celsius. Such as this one right here, which is a Li Shan from Taiwan, and we're brewing it at 80 Celsius. Versus if you are brewing a oolong tea that's kind of dark, such as the Wuyi rock tea here or a Phoenix Dancong, then you brew the tea at temperature level 90 to 95 Celsius. And when it comes to oolong tea, tea liquor, there is a wide variety due to the oxidation level range. However, typically they can be light green or light gold, amber, and amber orange, or orange amber. Yeah. And here's a comparison of a Li Shan oolong tea from Taiwan and a Wuyi rock tea, Rou Gui.
So oolong tea flavor profile is pretty diverse because there's so many different types of oolongs. But to touch on it by oxidation level, if it is mildly oxidized, it usually tastes more like a green tea, so has stronger umami, sweeter, a little bit floral, and it can sometimes even be creamy and buttery. If it is medium level oxidized, it also is sweet, can be creamy, but it'll tend to have a very mild fruitiness to it as well. And then lastly, if it's heavily oxidized, that can range from having sort of like a caramel notes to tasting like barley, nutty, sweet, and sometimes fruity as well.
They're just all good.
They're just so good.
Yeah.
We really like oolong teas.
Obviously, there are lots of benefits of drinking oolong tea, just like drinking any other tea. The number one benefit that I would like to talk about is that oolong tea is also known as the lose weight tea because it boosts your metabolism like crazy. Then it's high in antioxidant, just like green tea. It also decreases anti-inflammation. Then lastly, it boosts your energy. So FYI, if you are a student and you want to improve your focus, I will highly recommend GABA oolong tea. And so drink that, try that, and get 4.0. So that was a quick introduction into the world of oolong. Of course, we were not able to cover everything. However, we strongly encourage you to dig more. And if you do have any questions, please let us know. We'd love to answer your questions regarding oolong teas because
We really love oolongs.
we really love oolongs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so yeah, in the next video, which is in 2 weeks, we'll be talking about black teas. And in the meantime,
Commit and like. Happy steeping and have a happy Halloween.
happy Halloween!